all the members of the D clan and their families, explained in just one video. It's true that some time ago I uploaded this very same video, but since then, within the D clan, we've had new revelations, new character names, and even the parental relationships of some and others. So, this video absolutely needs to be redone, explaining all the families of Clan D and every single one of their members in full. And this video will probably be quite lengthy, something you've put on in the background while you're busy with other things. Perhaps you've put it on to help you sleep. If so, then good night. Or maybe you're currently eating. In that case, enjoy your meal. Or even anything else, like working, walking the dog, going out to exercise, or cleaning the house. Well then, whatever it is you're doing, do leave it in the comments because you know I truly love reading your thoughts and it always makes me very curious. But now, I'll be quiet and leave you with each one of the D clan members and their families, explained in their entirety. The first one we're going to talk about is Monkey D. Luffy, a character everyone knows because he's obviously the main protagonist of One Piece. We're going to explore his origins and his childhood, and Monkey D. Luffy is the central protagonist of One Piece, a work created by obviously Eiichiro Oda. He was born in the small village of Fuchsia, which is located in the East Blue. From a very young age, Luffy always displayed a cheerful, reckless, and determined personality. He was raised primarily by his grandfather, Monkey D. Garp, a vice admiral of the Navy who constantly attempted to train him to follow in his footsteps. However, Luffy always dreamed of becoming a pirate, inspired by Shanks the Red-Haired, the captain of the red-haired pirates, who would visit his village and showed him the romantic and adventurous side of a pirate's life. When Luffy was a young boy, he accidentally consumed the Gomu Gomu no Mi, which was subsequently revealed to be the mythical Zoan fruit, the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. This transformed his entire body into rubber, granting him superhuman elastic abilities, but at the same time, it took away his ability to swim. Sometime later, Shanks courageously saved Luffy from a terrible Sea King, sacrificing his own left arm in the process. Before his departure, Shanks left his straw hat to Luffy, which became Luffy's personal symbol and a promise to return it once he becomes a truly great pirate. Driven by his dream and strong motivations, Luffy has a very clear objective: to find the legendary One Piece treasure and become the king of the pirates. For him, being king isn't merely about possessing immense wealth or significant power, but rather about experiencing the ultimate freedom in the entire world. This aspiration directly links him to the profound concept of the will of D, given that individuals bearing this initial frequently challenge the established status quo upheld by the world government. Regarding his dream, let's say, Luffy's steadfast dream, not his main goal. For now, we know nothing in the story, though there are many theories from a big party to even many other things. Going with his crew and allies, Luffy is the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates, a group made up of exceptional members who share his ideals of freedom and adventure. Each one of them possesses their own individual dreams, but they are all firmly united by their unwavering loyalty to Luffy. Among the most important members of this particular crew, we have Zoro, Nami, Usopp, Sanji, Chopper, Robin, Frankie, Brook, and Jinbei. And perhaps a few more before the conclusion of this saga. Furthermore, Luffy has forged very strong bonds with characters external to his own crew, such as Trafalgar Law, Sabo, who is his adoptive brother, and the Samurai of Wano as well. He also counts on the backing of the Grand Fleet, an alliance comprised of several pirate captains who all consider him their leader. As for his personality and values, Luffy is an impulsive, direct individual, and he is often seen as naive or even foolish. But behind this facade, one finds a deeply insightful and compassionate person, and he is known for his remarkable ability to inspire others and to bring together the most unexpected allies you could possibly imagine, as, for example, was the case with Impel Down. He never abandons his friends and always stands up to what he perceives as an injustice. Regardless of his opponent's strength or power, a truly distinctive characteristic of Luffy is his unwavering optimism and sheer determination. He has faced many monumental challenges and has lost very close people, such as his brother Ace, but he has never given up on his dream, not even in his absolute lowest moments. Regarding his abilities and powers, thanks to the Gomu Gomu no Mi, which, as we've mentioned, is Nika's fruit, Luffy's body is elastic, allowing him to perform unique attacks like the Gomu Gomu no Pistol, the Gomu Gomu no Gatling. And throughout his journey, Luffy has also developed many advanced Haki abilities. He possesses Observation Haki, which allows him to foresee enemy attacks and, at advanced levels, even briefly see the future. He also possesses armament haki, which strengthens his attacks and his defense, allowing him to confront Devil Fruit users with greater effectiveness. And then he's also able to use Conqueror's haki, a very rare ability that allows him to dominate his opponents by weakening their will, and even imbue it into physical attacks at advanced levels. In the Wano arc, it was revealed that Luffy's fruit is actually a mythological Zoan that grants him the powers of the sun god Nika. This turns him into an almost divine figure, capable of performing feats like transforming his surroundings and defying the laws of physics. Regarding his achievements and battles, Luffy has defeated numerous incredibly powerful enemies throughout his journey, solidifying his place as a truly pivotal figure in the world of One Piece. Some of his most notable confrontations include Crocodile in Alabasta, marking his very first victory against a Shichibukai, to rob Lucci in Enies Lobby to rescue Nico Robin, to Don Quixote do Flamingo in Dressrosa, freeing an entire kingdom from his tyranny, to Charlotte Katakuri in Whole Cake Island, demonstrating his growth as a fighter, defeating a Yonkou commander for the very first time, and then finally a Yonkou Kaido in Wano, solidifying himself as one of the most powerful pirates in the world. Regarding his bounty, Luffy's current bounty stands at 3 billion berries, awarded after his decisive victory over Kaido and his pivotal role in the liberation of Wano itself. As for his overall impact on the world of One Piece, Luffy is widely considered a direct and significant threat to the world government due to his ever-increasing power and his profound connection to Joy Boy and the Will of D. His influence has challenged the world's most powerful forces, including emperors and the Marines, making him a central figure in the future world of One Piece. And now, let's move on to Monkey D. Garp, Luffy's own grandfather, known as the Marine Hero. Regarding his origins and his role in the story, we have that Monkey D. Garp is a legendary Vice Admiral of the Marines and the grandfather of Monkey D. Luffy, the protagonist of One Piece. Garp is an absolutely key figure in the story due to his connection with several of the most important characters and his participation in crucial events of the pirate and governmental world. Although he holds the distinguished rank of Vice Admiral, he's widely acknowledged as one of the most formidable Marines in history and a chief antagonist of the legendary pirate king, Gold D. Roger, whom we'll delve into more deeply later. Garp is a member of the enigmatic Will of D, which establishes him as a truly pivotal figure in the entire lore of One Piece. Although he works for the Navy, his irreverent character and his disdain for the world noble system make him somewhat rebellious within the organization. As for his family relationships, Garp is the biological grandfather of Monkey D. Luffy and the father of Monkey D. Dragon, who is the leader of the entire Revolutionary Army, and we will explore that later. Although his relationship with Dragon hasn't been thoroughly explored, it's quite clear that Garp always wished for Luffy and Ace, his adopted grandson, to become upstanding Marines and steer clear of a pirate's life at any cost. In an attempt to train Luffy, and I use that term loosely, Garp subjected him to truly extreme methods, such as throwing him into deep ravines, abandoning him alone in the wild jungle, or exposing him to dangerous wild animals, all with the hope of toughening him up. And in the end, it didn't turn out very well. Regarding his personality and values, Garp is an outgoing, frank, and extremely strong-willed man. Although he often appears relaxed and playful, he can also be very strict and possesses a great sense of justice. However, Garp follows, let's say, his very own version of justice, which often puts him at odds with the corruption and extreme methods of the world government. One of Garp's most prominent characteristics is his unwavering loyalty, both to his family and his ideals. Despite his attempts to keep Luffy and Ace from becoming pirates, he shows great pride in them and their strength. However, as a Marine, they find themselves in a constant dilemma between their duties and their personal feelings. As for his strength and abilities, Garp is renowned as the Marine hero, owing to his crucial role in defeating the Rock's pirates, one of the most perilous crews in all of history, specifically led by Rock's D. Xebec, a character whom we will discuss further on. He collaborated with Gold D. Roger to secure this victory, showcasing his immense power and strategic capabilities. Even though he doesn't possess the supernatural powers of a devil fruit, Garp is a true master of haki, particularly armament haki, which enables him to face incredibly powerful adversaries with devastating physical blows. It is said that he has unleashed punches capable of destroying mountains, and his legendary strength allowed him to confront Gold D. Roger on numerous occasions. And speaking of Roger, their relationship with him was that, despite them being natural enemies due to their roles as a Marine and a pirate, Garp and Gold D. Roger shared a mutual respect. In fact, Roger even entrusted Garp to care for his son, Portgas D. Ace just before his execution, and it's because he knew that Garp would protect the child. This truly shows a lot of Garp's human side, who despite his high position in the Navy, prioritized personal bonds over the orders of the world government. He was also present at the Marineford confrontation, and it was during the Marineford War that Garp faced one of the greatest dilemmas of his entire life. As a Marine, he had to do his duty and stop the Whitebeard pirates, but as a grandfather, he wanted to protect Ace. Ultimately, he stepped aside to let Luffy try to rescue him, but this didn't prevent Ace's tragic death. And regarding ethical dilemmas, Garp is one of the few Marine characters who openly questions the world government's decisions, such as the world noble's brutality and the execution of the Buster Call order in Ohara. He also recently went to rescue Kobe, his apprentice. He failed in the escape, but still saved Kobe and upheld his ideals. Regarding his legacy, Monkey D. Garp is an iconic figure, both within and outside the Marines. His title as a Marine hero and his part in defeating the Rock's pirates make him a legend. And with Garp's case, although we know he earned the title of Marine Hero in the God Valley incident, we also know this is manipulated by the government and that they simply gave Garp all the credit for everything that happened, when in reality, despite him being one of the great figures, it wasn't exactly as the world government told it. And as I'm telling you, we simply cannot trust anything. However, its true importance lies in its connection to Luffy, Dragon, and Ace, who represent different paths in the world of One Piece: piracy, revolution, and the dilemma between justice and morality. Garp remains a complex and essential character in the story, representing the struggle between duty and family ties. His impact on the One Piece universe endures through the actions of his descendants and the mysteries of the Will of D that he carries. And if you ask me, Monkey D. Garp is the best written character in all of One Piece. I adore the moral dilemmas he faces, being the beast he is and having lived through so much. I wish for a powerful Garp flashback, and I hope they do great things with him despite him currently being captured by Blackbeard. And now, let's move on to Monkey D's son, Garp. And now we're moving on to Monkey D. Dragon, the leader of the Revolutionary Army. We'll discuss his origins and background and Monkey D. Dragon is Monkey D. Luffy's father and the leader of the Revolutionary Army, an organization that seeks to overthrow the world government and end the tyranny of the world nobles. Although his role in the series has been largely mysterious, Dragon is one of the most influential and feared figures in the entire world of One Piece. His name is known throughout all corners of the world, and he is considered the most wanted man by the world government due to his revolutionary activities. While his bounty remains unknown, it's widely believed it should be the highest, solely due to this title. Dragon comes from the East Blue, though details about his youth and his connection to Garp, who is his father, are scarce. It is not known how or why he chose to form the Revolutionary Army, but his primary objective is to liberate oppressed nations under the world government system. As for his personality and values, we know that Dragon is a serious, reserved, and determined man. His character is enigmatic, and he rarely shows emotions openly. However, his commitment to freedom and justice is clearly evident in his actions. He is willing to confront the world government to ensure that the people of the world can live free from oppression. Although he doesn't seem to have a close relationship with Luffy, Dragon shows some interest in his son's well-being. In Logtown, for example, he directly intervenes to save him from Smoker, which indicates he's aware of Luffy's activities as a pirate. However, Dragon has chosen to maintain a physical distance from his family, possibly to protect them from his status as the most wanted man in the world. Regarding his leadership in the Revolutionary Army, Dragon is the founder and leader of the army itself, a clandestine organization that fights against the world government. His group has successfully liberated several nations from oppression, such as the Kingdom of Goa, and continues to gain strength and influence globally. Among his key subordinates is Sabo, who serves as second in command and is Luffy's brother, having become a central figure within the army. Then we have Ivankov, who is a commander of the Revolutionary Army and a user of the Horohoro no Mi fruit, who is known for his loyalty to Dragon. Then there's Kuma, who before becoming a world government pacifista, was a key revolutionary commander. The Revolutionary Army operates in the shadows, planning tactics and strategic attacks to weaken the world government's influence without large-scale direct clashes. Then we have his relationship with Luffy and Garp, as Dragon is the link between two completely opposite figures. His father, Monkey D., Garp, who represents the justice of the Marine, and his son, Monkey D. Luffy, who follows the path of piracy. Despite their different trajectories, Dragon, Garp, and Luffy are connected by the mysterious will of D. Although his relationship with Luffy hasn't been deeply explored, Dragon seems very proud of him and respects his choice to follow his own path. His relationship with Garp is even more intriguing, as the Vice Admiral has spoken disdainfully of Dragon's actions. Yet there also seems to be a mutual understanding. As for his powers and abilities, it's true that his strength hasn't been directly shown. Dragon is considered a significant threat by the world government, which clearly implies he possesses extraordinary abilities. His mysterious power also seems to be related to the weather and natural elements, just as was observed in Logtown, where an unexpected lightning strike saved Luffy, and there was also a powerful gust of wind. Some theories suggest that Dragon might be a user of a devil fruit related to weather control or the winds themselves. Dragon also proves to be an exceptional strategist, capable of leading an organization that defies such a powerful entity as the world government. His ability to inspire loyalty in powerful individuals like Sabo and Ivankov is a clear indication of his charisma and leadership. Regarding the most notable events in which he has been present in the series, we have Logtown, where Dragon makes his first appearance just as he saves Luffy from Smoker, although his intervention is brief and enigmatic. Then we have the relationship with Sabo, and Dragon rescued Sabo after the attack by the world nobles in the East Blue, which led to him joining the Revolutionary Army. Sabo views Dragon as a father figure and a role model. During the Reverie, Dragon planned a significant attack against the world government, demonstrating his intention to intensify the conflict between the revolutionaries and the Marine forces. Regarding his impact on the world of One Piece, Dragon is a crucial figure in its narrative, not only due to his connection with Luffy, but also for his role as the world government's primary opponent. As Luffy battles the Sea Emperors and seeks the One Piece, Dragon wages an ideological war against the global system of oppression. The mystery surrounding Dragon makes him one of the most intriguing characters in the series. His history, abilities, and the scope of his revolutionary plans will surely have a significant impact on the final events of One Piece, when the secrets of the Void Century and the Will of D they will finally be revealed. And now, let's move on to the King of the Pirates, Gol D. Roger. As for his origins and his legacies, Gol D. Roger is one of the most iconic and fundamental characters in the history of One Piece. Known as the King of the Pirates, he was the only man to reach the final island of the Grand Line, Laugh Tale, and discover the legendary treasure known as the One Piece. His execution marked the beginning of the great era of piracy, inspiring countless pirates, including Monkey D. Luffy, to pursue their dreams of conquering the seas. Roger was born in East Blue in Logtown, which would later be called the City of Beginnings and Endings, for being the place where he was born and executed. From a young age, he showed a fearless spirit and an insatiable desire to explore the world. We must also discuss the great era of piracy, as Gol D. Roger was the captain of the Roger Pirates, a legendary crew who sailed all the world's seas, facing numerous challenges in their quest for adventure. Key members of his crew included Silver Rayleigh, his first mate, and apprentices Shanks and Buggy, who would later become important figures in piracy, among many others. Roger's greatest achievement was reaching Laugh Tale, where he uncovered the truth of the Void Century, the Ancient Kingdom, and the true meaning of the One Piece. Although Roger understood the importance of his findings, he knew he had arrived too soon to change the world. His discovery was the peak of his life, but it also sealed his fate, and we must discuss his illness and his subsequent surrender to it. And the truth is, Roger contracted a completely incurable illness, which led him to make drastic decisions. He knew his time was limited, so he disbanded his crew and surrendered to the Navy. Instead of hiding or trying to avoid his impending death, Roger chose to use his public execution as a powerful opportunity to inspire the entire world. You see, before he surrendered himself, Roger had a son, Portgas D. Ace, with Portgas D. Rouge, a woman we will also discuss in more detail later, and to her he entrusted his precious lineage. Roger specifically asked his longtime rival, Monkey D. Garp, to take care of Ace, knowing full well that Garp was a man honorable enough to protect the innocent child. And we'll also discuss his execution and the very start of the Great Pirate Era. Roger's execution, as I mentioned, happened in Logtown before a massive crowd. Before his execution, someone asked him about his legendary treasure, the One Piece. This is in the anime, not shown in the manga, but we interpret it that way. Smiling, he declared that he had left everything he had ever found in a single hidden location, unleashing a fever for piracy that completely changed the course of history. His final words inspired a new generation of pirates, including Monkey D. Luffy, to seek the One Piece and discover the profound secrets that Roger had left behind. As for his personality and values, Roger was a charismatic, brave, and vibrant man. Though he was feared by many, he was also respected by others for his nobility and sense of honor. Roger was known for his ability to form deep bonds with all kinds of people, including enemies like Monkey D. Garp. Despite his fearsome reputation in combat, Roger had a generous heart and cared deeply for his crew and loved ones. One defining characteristic of Roger was his infectious laughter and his remarkable ability to confront any challenge with a smile. This indomitable spirit transformed him into a legendary figure who is still remembered and deeply revered even after his passing. As for his exceptional abilities and formidable powers, Roger was widely known as one of the strongest men of his era. Although it hasn't been confirmed if he was a devil fruit user, in principle he was not. Roger was an absolute master of Haki, dominating all three forms to their fullest extent: Observation Haki, Armament Haki, and Conqueror's Haki. And indeed, even with his Conqueror's Haki, Roger possessed an exceptionally advanced form of this Haki, enabling him to overcome even the mightiest warriors. Roger faced the greatest adversaries of his era, including the Rocks Pirates, led by Rocks D. Xebec and Edward Newgate Whitebeard, who was considered his equal in strength. As for his important relationships, we have Silver Rayleigh, who was his first mate and close friend. Rayleigh was Roger's right-hand man, and he helped the crew reach Laugh Tale. Then we have Monkey D. Garp. Even though they were enemies, Roger trusted Garp enough to ask him to take care of Ace. Then we have Portgas D. Rouge, his lover and Ace's mother, who sacrificed her life to protect her son. And we have Shanks and Buggy, who were apprentices on his crew and later became prominent pirates in their own right. Well, to be fair, Buggy not so much in his own right, but he had a lot of luck, which is also fine. And if you talk about Roger, you talk about the impact he had on the world of One Piece, as Roger is the main catalyst for the series' events. His legacy, the great era of piracy, and the search for the One Piece are the elements that drive the main plot. Although he died before Luffy's story began, his influence lives on in the actions of pirates, revolutionaries, and marines. Roger is also a key figure in the mystery of the Void Century and the Will of D, linking the past and future of the One Piece world. His role as the Pirate King and his choice to share his treasure with the world make him an unforgettable and pivotal character in the series. And now we'll move on to his wife, Portgas D. Rouge. As for her origins and background, Portgas D. Rouge was a woman from the South Blue, primarily known for being the lover of Gold D. Roger and the mother of Portgas D. Ace. Though her time in the series is brief, Rouge is a key figure in One Piece's story due to her bravery and sacrifice, ensuring her son's birth despite the world government's persecution. Rouge lived on Baterla Island, seemingly leading a quiet life. However, her life completely changed when she began a relationship with Gold D. Roger, the king of the pirates. Although it's unknown how they met or how long they were together, it's clear that Roger deeply trusted Rouge as he entrusted her with his greatest legacy, his son. And we also need to discuss the world government's persecution, since after Gold D's execution, Roger, the world government launched a massive hunt to eliminate all possible descendants of the Pirate King. They believed any heir of Roger would threaten the world's balance. This operation, known as the Great Purge, included the execution of pregnant women who might have been linked to Roger. To protect her child, Rouge made an extraordinary decision. She utilized her immense willpower to significantly prolong the gestation period far beyond what is considered normal, thereby successfully concealing her pregnancy from the global government. According to various reports, Rouge managed to carry Ace within her womb for an astonishing 20 months, a profound and ultimately fatal sacrifice that tragically claimed her own life. Rouge gave birth to Ace in Baterila, shortly after the world government forces had abandoned the island, believing that there were no descendants of Roger. Shortly after the birth, Rouge passed away due to the extreme exhaustion caused by having artificially extended her pregnancy for such a long time. Before his death, he named his son Gold D. Ace, but Garp, who took on the task of raising the child, changed his surname to Portgas to honor Rouge and to prevent anyone from knowing he was Roger's son, thus avoiding pursuit. As for her personality and values, even though her screen time is quite limited, Rouge is remembered for her bravery, her unconditional love, and her sheer strength of will. She was truly willing to endure unimaginable suffering to guarantee her son's safety, even at the cost of her very own life. Her sacrifice demonstrates the profound depth of her character and her unwavering commitment to her family, as well as her faith in the future her son could build. Rouge also showed great emotional strength in accepting Roger's fate and facing the reality of raising her son alone in a world that sought to destroy him even before he was born. As for her important relationships, we have Gold D. Roger, and it's that even though not much is known about their relationship, their connection was deep enough for Roger to entrust Rouge with his son's life. It's probable that they shared a bond based on mutual trust and love. Then we have her relationship with Ace, and Rouge dedicated the final months of her life to ensuring Ace's future. Although she never got to see him grow up, her legacy lives on through him, and also with Monkey D. Garp. After Rouge's death, Garp took responsibility for caring for Ace, fulfilling Rouge's last wish and acknowledging her sacrifice. Regarding the impact on One Piece's story, although Portgas D. Rouge appears briefly in the story, but her impact is significant. Her sacrifice allowed Portgas D. Ace to live, a crucial character in the One Piece plot's development. Rouge's story also illustrates the world government's cruelty and its willingness to take extreme measures to maintain full control. Rouge's enduring legacy lives on, not only through Ace, but also through the profound bonds she formed with key characters like Luffy and Sabo. Her story stands as a poignant reminder of the immense sacrifices made by these supporting characters, allowing the heroes of One Piece to bravely pursue their dreams and valiantly fight for freedom. Regarding her legacy, Portgas D. Rouge is a representation of sacrifice and unconditional love in One Piece. Her bravery and determination make her an inspiring figure whose impact is deeply felt in the lives of the main characters. Although she died before the main story began, her influence and her connection to the will of D. They are a constant reminder of the immense power of love and sacrifice in the world of One Piece. And now we'll move on to his son, Portgas D. Ace, the Fire Fist. As for his origins and background, Portgas D Ace was also known as Fire Fist Ace, who was the son of Gold D. Roger, the king of the pirates, and Portgas D Rouge. He was also born on Badarilla Island in the South Blue after his mother sacrificed her life to protect him from the world government's persecution. To hide his connection with Roger, Ace was raised under his mother's surname, Portgas, and entrusted to the care of Monkey D. Garp, who raised him alongside his grandson, Monkey D. Luffy, and his other adoptive brother, Sabo. From an early age, Ace displayed strong independence, a rebellious spirit, and a determined character. Though he carried Roger's blood, Ace harbored deep hatred for his father, believing his existence brought pain and suffering to those around him. Ace grew up on Mount Kalubo, living alongside Luffy and Sabo, where they formed an unbreakable brotherly bond. Together they shared the dream of exploring the world as pirates, and they created strong ties that led them to truly consider themselves brothers. During this period, Ace developed a very protective relationship with Luffy, often confronting his enemies to defend him. Tragedy struck him when Sabo, attempting to escape his noble life, was seemingly killed by an attack from the world nobles. This event reinforced Ace's determination to become stronger to protect those he loved. Regarding his beginnings as a pirate, at 17, Ace left Mount Kalubo to become a pirate, founding the Spade Pirates. His combat ability, combined with his charisma, led him to be considered a very serious threat by the world government. During this time, Ace ate the Mera Mera no Mi, which was a devil fruit that granted him the ability to manipulate and transform into fire. Eventually, Ace caught the attention of Edward Newgate, famously known as Whitebeard, who defeated him and invited him to join his crew. Although he initially resisted, Ace accepted and became the commander of the 2nd Division of the Whitebeard Pirates. And speaking of his relationship with Whitebeard, Ace developed a deep respect and loyalty towards Whitebeard, seeing him as a father figure. Whitebeard also took care of Ace, protecting him from the revelation that he was the son of Gold D, Roger, his old rival. This relationship became one of Ace's most important emotional pillars, for he saw in Whitebeard the father he had never truly known. And so, Ace made the decision to hunt Marshal D. Teach, Blackbeard, a former subordinate of Whitebeard who had betrayed his own crew and committed truly atrocious acts. This confrontation resulted in Ace's defeat, who was handed over to the world government to be executed, an event that sparked the Marineford War. Ace was then taken to Marineford, where he was prepared for his public execution as a message from the world government to deter piracy. This event marked one of the most iconic moments in One Piece, as it triggered the invasion by Whitebeard's pirates and their allies in a desperate attempt to save him. Despite the combined efforts of his crew and Luffy, Ace was killed by Admiral Akainu while protecting his younger brother. His final words expressed gratitude to his family and friends for having given him a reason to live. As for his personality and values, Ace was brave, loyal, and profoundly protective of those he held dear. Although he was often serious and reserved, he possessed a kind and compassionate side. He constantly struggled with his identity as Gold D. Roger's son, feeling he had to prove his worth to justify his existence. However, his time with Whitebeard and his crew helped him find a true sense of belonging. As for his abilities and powers, Ace was an exceptionally strong pirate, known for his mastery of the Mera Mera no Mi, which allowed him to unleash devastating attacks like the Fire Fist and create massive infernos. Ace also possessed natural haki, though its development wasn't as advanced as that of other users. Regarding his legacy, Ace's death had a very profound impact on the world of One Piece. It served as a catalyst for Luffy's growth, who realized the true magnitude of the new world and the power he needed to protect his friends. Also, his tragic end highlighted the brutality of the world government and the ideological war between freedom and tyranny. Ace's death also left an emotional scar on Luffy, who suffered a personal crisis after losing his brother. However, this event motivated him to train and grow stronger, marking a turning point in his journey. For Sabo, the news of Ace's death led him to recover his repressed memories and take his place as second in command of the Revolutionary Army, continuing his brother's legacy. For Sabo, the news of Ace led him to recover his repressed memories and continue fighting with more determination as second in command of the Revolutionary Army. In conclusion, Portgas D. Ace was a symbol of bravery, sacrifice, and loyalty in One Piece. His life and death left an indelible mark on the series' history, making him one of the most beloved and remembered characters by fans. His legacy lives on through his brothers, Luffy and Sabo, and all those who fight for freedom in the world of One Piece. And now, let's turn our attention to Marshal D. Teach, also known as Blackbeard. As for his origins and backstory, Marshal D. Teach, famously known as Blackbeard, stands as one of the most enigmatic and feared characters in One Piece. From his humble beginnings as a mere member of Whitebeard's pirate crew to his subsequent ascent as one of the 4 great emperors, Blackbeard has consistently proven himself to be an extremely ambitious, calculating, and utterly ruthless individual. Teach was born in an undisclosed location, and as a bearer of the enigmatic initial D, he is intrinsically linked to the profound mystery of the will of D. However, his interpretation of this will appears to be completely opposite to that of figures like Monkey D. Luffy, displaying a dark and self-serving approach to power and freedom. Regarding his life with the Whitebeard Pirates, it is true that Teach spent the majority of his life as a member of the Whitebeard Pirates, where he carefully hid his true intentions. For decades, he acted as a loyal subordinate, patiently biding his time, awaiting his chance to get his hands on the Yami Yami no Mi fruit, a Logia-type devil fruit in principle, which bestows upon its user the power to control darkness. When he finally seized the perfect opportunity, Teach ruthlessly betrayed and murdered Thatch, a respected commander of the crew, all to claim that powerful fruit for himself. This act marked the beginning of his rise to power. After fleeing from Whitebeard's pirates, Teach formed his own crew, the Blackbeard Pirates, made up of some of the world's most dangerous criminals. His crew is known for its brutality and its willingness to use any means to achieve their goals. Teach quickly gained notoriety by defeating powerful opponents and wreaking havoc in the pirate world. Teach was challenged by Portgas D Ace, who sought to avenge Teach's betrayal of the Whitebeard Pirates. In a fierce battle, Teach defeated Ace and handed him over to the world government, which allowed him to earn the title of Shichibukai, a position he used as a strategic step toward his own ambitions. During the Marineford War, Teach betrayed again, renouncing his Shichibukai title and using the battle as an opportunity to kill Whitebeard and seize his devil fruit, the Gura Gura no Mi, which grants him the power to cause earthquakes. Teach became the only known being to possess the powers of 2 devil fruits, solidifying his place as one of the most dangerous figures in the world of One Piece. After Whitebeard's death, Teach ascended to his position as one of the 4 emperors of the sea. With his Blackbeard pirates, he began to conquer vast territories and expand his formidable influence, becoming a central figure in the New World. His relentless quest for power includes the hunting of devil fruit users, whose unique abilities he steals to further strengthen his formidable crew. As for his personality and values, Teach is an ambitious, manipulative, and extremely patient man. Unlike other characters who possess the will of D, Teach lacks any sense of honor or justice, prioritizing his own benefit above all else. His life philosophy is based on the idea that dreams never truly die, which symbolically connects him with other bearers of the D, such as Luffy, but from a completely opposite perspective. Although he presents himself as cheerful and carefree, Teach is a cold and calculating strategist who uses his enemies and allies as mere chess pieces. His ability to manipulate others has led him to obtain positions of power and fulfill his own objectives. Regarding his abilities and powers, we see he possesses the Yami Yami no Mi, which is the dark fruit, a Logia-type devil fruit that allows Teach to control darkness, absorb attacks, and neutralize the abilities of other devil fruits. It is an extremely powerful and dangerous ability, but it also carries significant risks as Teach receives damage much more intensely than other devil fruit users. He also possesses the Gura Gura no Mi, known as the Tremor fruit, which is one of the most destructive devil fruits. It allows Teach to cause earthquakes and tsunamis, granting him devastating power in combat. Furthermore, he possesses immense physical strength and endurance, which are extreme, enabling him to confront some of the most powerful characters in the series. And to complement that, we see he has a formidable crew composed of high-level criminals, including Shiryu of the Rain, who was a former Impel Down jailer, and other devil fruit users. Regarding his important relationships, we see that Teach is Luffy's ideological opposite, representing the dark side of the will of D. Although he hasn't had a significant direct confrontation, their rivalry is destined to be a highlight in the series. Next, we consider his relationship with Whitebeard, because Teach actually betrayed and murdered Whitebeard, his former captain, in order to seize his immense power. This act truly symbolizes the complete rupture of traditional pirate values. Moving on to Portgas D, Ace's capture was a crucial point in the series, triggering the Marineford War and deeply affecting Luffy and the Whitebeard pirates. And with Blackbeard, we've also been given the recent revelation that he is indeed the son of Rock's D. Xebec, or more accurately, David D. Xebec. We also know he was at God Valley, which is most likely where he developed that deep-seated hatred he seems to hold for the world government and the Celestial Dragons, and we also witnessed him being treated as a mere slave and utter scum by the world government itself. It's clear that once we learn more in detail about Teach's entire flashback, this God Valley incident will be the most insane catalyst for this character to accomplish what he's destined to do, which will undoubtedly make history. And as for his impact on the story of One Piece, Marshall D teaches one of the primary antagonist characters in the series, and a significant catalyst for many crucial events. His ambition, his cunning, and his complete lack of scruples transform him into a feared and respected figure throughout the pirate world. He represents the dark side of freedom and power, acting as a distorted reflection of Luffy's ideals. Blackbeard remains a constant threat to the balance of the One Piece world, and his final confrontation with Luffy promises to be one of the most epic moments of the series. His connection to the will of D and his role in the destiny of One Piece are key elements that continue to intrigue fans. Let's move now to Trafalgar D, Waterlaw. Regarding his origins and background, Trafalgar D, Waterlaw, known as Law or the Surgeon of Death, is the captain of the Heart Pirates and one of the most prominent characters in One Piece. Originally from Flavance, an island in the North Blue, Law had a childhood marked by tragedy and loss. His hometown was destroyed due to a disease caused by amber lead, a toxic material that enriched the island but condemned its inhabitants to a slow and painful death. And when the world government decided to exterminate the citizens to prevent the spread of the disease, Law lost his family and escaped with a deep hatred for the world. This traumatic event marked him for life, leading him to become a pirate seeking vengeance and freedom. Law was later rescued by Corazon, Don Quixote Rocinante, Don Quixote Doflamingo's younger brother. Corazon, realizing Law's terminal illness, took him on a desperate journey to save his life. During that time, Law joined Doflamingo's crew, but developed a strong bond with Corazon, who protected him and taught him the value of kindness and sacrifice. Corazon finally stole the Ope Ope no Mi and gave it to Law to cure his illness. However, this action led to his demise at the hands of Don Quixote Doflamingo, who considered it an unforgivable act of betrayal. Corazon's death left a deep emotional scar on Law, but it also inspired him to continue fighting for his ideals. Law founded the Heart Pirates and quickly stood out as one of the most promising pirates. His skill as a surgeon and his mastery of the Ope Ope no Mi gave him a unique advantage, allowing him to perform impossible operations, manipulate his surroundings, and dismantle his enemies with surgical precision. In the New World, Law became one of the worst generation pirates, a group of young pirates known for their potential to disrupt the world's balance. His decision to form an alliance with Monkey D. Luffy marked a crucial point in history, as they confronted and defeated Don Quixote Doflamingo in Dressrosa. Regarding his personality and values, Law is a complex character, defined by his seriousness, intelligence, and a sense of justice that often hides behind a very cold facade. Though initially distant and calculating, Law deeply respects his allies and strongly desires to protect those he deems important. His tragic past made him distrustful, but also spurred him to fight oppression and tyranny. Despite his somber nature, Law also shows moments of humor and camaraderie, especially when interacting with Luffy, whose outgoing personality greatly contrasts his own. As for his abilities and powers, we see that he possesses the Ope Ope no Mai, which is a Paramecia-type devil fruit, granting him absolute control within a spherical area known as Room. His abilities include the Shambles, which allows him to swap the positions of objects or people, the Touch, enabling him to manipulate objects within his designated room, the Gamma Knife, a deadly strike that obliterates the internal organs of his chosen target, and the Eternal Youth Operation, a legendary power from his Devil Fruit that grants everlasting youth to another individual at the cost of his own life, although up to this point we haven't seen him utilize it. Aside from this, Law also possesses Observation Haki and Armament Haki, which allows him to face very powerful enemies like Doflamingo and Big Mom. And to complement that, we see he has great medical skill, because besides his powers, Law is an exceptional surgeon, capable of performing very complex operations and saving lives in extreme situations. He has several important relationships in the story, for example, with Corazon, who was the most influential figure in Law's life, sacrificing his own life to save him, and Corazon's legacy remains a central motivation for Law. Then he has a relationship with Monkey D. Luffy. Although initially their relationship was purely strategic, Law developed a deep respect for Luffy, seeing in him an inspiring figure who embodies freedom. And finally, with Doflamingo, a sworn enemy of Law, whose defeat was one of the greatest achievements of his life. The fight against Doflamingo represented an emotional closure for Law, who avenged Corazon's death. Among the series' most prominent events, we have Doflamingo's defeat, as Law's alliance with Luffy resulted in Doflamingo's downfall, freeing Dressrosa from his tyranny, and that event marked the beginning of a new era in the New World. And besides, we have the battle in Wano, since Law played a crucial role in the alliance against Kaido and Big Mom, demonstrating his strength and combat skills. His dedication to the cause showed his growth as a leader and as an ally. Regarding his impact on the history of One Piece, Trafalgar D. Waterlaw is one of the most influential characters in the series, representing a balance between tragedy and hope. His fight against tyranny and his search for justice make him an indispensable ally for Luffy and a symbol of resistance in the world of One Piece. The mystery surrounding his connection to the will of D and his potential role in the series' ultimate outcome make Law a fascinating character whose story still has much to reveal. His personal growth and his impact on the events of One Piece solidify him as one of the most memorable pirates in One Piece. And now, let's move on to Jaguar D. Saul. Regarding his origins and background, Jaguar D. Saul was a vice admiral in the Navy and a giant who, unlike many of his friends, possessed a strong sense of moral justice. His story is deeply intertwined with the events of Ohara's destruction, a key incident in the history of One Piece. Despite his position in the Navy, Saul proved to be a very kind and big-hearted man, capable of disobeying unjust orders due to his personal ethics. Saul is one of the few known giants who bears the initial D in his name, connecting him with the mysterious Will of D. Although his role in the will is not fully explained, his sacrifice and bravery embody the ideals associated with it. Saul was part of the Navy and carried out important missions as a vice admiral. However, his perspective changed drastically when he was ordered to participate in the execution of the Buster Call Order on Ohara, an attack intended to destroy the archaeologists investigating the Void Century. Saul discovered that the true purpose of the attack was not to protect the world, but to silence the knowledge that threatened the world government. Unable to accept this injustice, Saul deserted the Navy and helped young Nico Robin escape the destruction of Ohara. During their time together, Saul taught Robin that despite adversity, she had to find the strength to live and laugh. Saul was a key figure in Nico Robin's life, acting as her protector and mentor during the darkest days of her childhood. Despite the threat of the Buster Call, he risked his life to save Robin, giving her a chance to survive. It was he who taught her the importance of laughter as a way to face pain and despair, telling her, "By laughing, you will overcome anything, Robin." His sacrifice left a lasting mark on Robin, who kept his legacy alive throughout her life, seeking the truth of the Void Century and showing courage against oppression. During the attack on Ohara, Saul was confronted by his friend, Admiral Kuzan Aokiji. Despite their friendship, Kuzan fulfilled his duties as a Marine officer and froze Saul, apparently killing him. However, Kuzan's act was not completely cruel as he allowed Robin to escape, which suggests that he also questioned the morality of the world government. Regarding his personality and values, Saul was a giant with a warm and gentle spirit. Despite his powerful position in the Navy, he didn't hesitate to risk his life to protect what he believed was right. His distinctive laugh, a derechishishi, reflected his optimistic nature and served as a source of comfort for Robin in her darkest hours. Unlike other giants from Elbaf, Saul showed no inclination towards war or violence, standing out for his empathy and strong sense of justice. Regarding his legacy and impact, Saul's sacrifice is one of the most emotional moments in One Piece, as it represents the cost of defying the world government and the importance of protecting the truth. Although his time in the series was brief, his impact on Nico Robin's life and Ohara's history is very profound. The mystery surrounding the Will of D has not yet been fully explored, but his sacrifice and ideals make him a symbol of resistance against oppression. In recent manga chapters, we've indeed seen that Saul is truly alive and was involved in recovering Ohara's books. This has generated a lot of hype among fans, as we've just seen the reunion of Robin and Saul, which was very emotional, but as of this video's recording date, we still don't have more information about the giant. In conclusion, Saul is a character who embodies the ideals of justice, compassion, and bravery that define the bearers of the Will of D. His story is a reminder of the importance of challenging injustice, even when the odds are against you. Although his sacrifice was tragic, his legacy lives on through Nico Robin and the fight to uncover the truth of the world of One Piece. And now let's move on to Rouge D. Xebec, and I know his real name is Davy D. Xebec, but I've gotten used to calling him Rouge D. Xebec. As for his origins and background, Rouge D. Xebec, known simply as Rouge, was the captain of the legendary Rouge Pirates, one of the most feared and dangerous crews in the entire history of One Piece. Rouge was an extremely ambitious and violent man, aiming to overthrow the world government and become the supreme ruler of the world. Although he lived before the main events of the series, his legacy and his actions have left an indelible mark upon the world. His crew included some of the most notable and powerful characters who would eventually become key figures in the pirate world, such as Edward Newgate, Whitebeard, Charlotte Linlin, Big Mom, Kaido, and Shiki. Rouge led this formidable crew during a period when the New World was completely plunged into chaos. Rouge was an exceptionally dangerous individual, owing to his ideology and immense power. Unlike other pirates who merely sought riches or personal freedom, Rouge aimed to dominate the entire world. His crew didn't just attack pirates, they directly defied the world government, assaulting world nobles and clashing with the Marines. His ambition and brutality made him a global threat, prompting the world government to deem him one of their greatest foes. And if we're talking about Xebec, we must obviously discuss the God Valley incident, which is this character's most significant event. At this event, just before we entered the island, we had the true name of this character revealed, who belonged to the Davy clan and was called Davy D. Xebec instead of Rocks D Xebec. And also, thanks to the recent revelations from the God Valley flashback, we understood the true reason why he came to this island, and it was nothing more and nothing less than to save his wife and his son by using the excuse of treasures and Shaki to attract his crew, a fact that denotes that his crew was formed more by force and not by true companionship, unlike Luffy's. Within this island, we had Xebec demonstrating his great power, crushing very many divine knights, and even fighting against Imu himself, given that he possessed a regeneration that could not be defeated, and this provoked the Domi Reversi in Xebec, forcing Roger and Garp to unite to finish him off, so that finally, and in principle, because I don't trust anything, the Divine Knights would defeat this character, thus closing the cycle of Xebec and opening a new path in history, which would be his sons. And from what we saw in Loki's flashback about this character, it confirms he was a true hockey beast, but he had no devil fruit. After his fall, the Rocks pirates disbanded, and their surviving members went their separate ways, eventually becoming some of the most famous pirates in the world. Regarding his personality and leadership, Rocks was known for his violent, ruthless, and authoritarian character. He ruled his crew with an iron fist, and his leadership was based on power and fear, unlike crews such as the Whitebeard Pirates or the Straw Hats. The Rocks pirates lacked a sense of camaraderie, and their members often fought among themselves for their own interests. Despite his chaotic nature, Rocks possessed an exceptional ability to gather powerful individuals under his command, reflecting his charisma and leadership strength. Regarding the connection to the Will of D, we observe he bore the initial D in his name, directly linking him to the mystery of the Will of D. His role in this enigmatic will remains a mystery, but his ambition to overthrow the world government suggests he shared certain ideals of freedom and defiance of the established order. As for his impact and legacy, though Rocks was defeated decades ago, his influence is still very palpable in the world of One Piece. The God Valley incident marked a turning point in history, elevating figures like Gold D, Roger, and Monkey D. Garp to the status of a legend. Additionally, many of the former members of his crew, such as Big Mom and Kaido, became central figures in the new world. Rocks is also a figure feared by the world government, who has tried to erase his existence from historical records to hide the threat he posed. As for his important relationships, we know he had a connection with Gold D, Roger, since Rocks was Roger's biggest rival before he became the Pirate King. Their clash at God Valley marked the end of Rocks' reign as the world's most dangerous pirate. He also had a connection with Garp, who was known as the hero of the Marines. He also played a crucial role in the defeat of Rocks, and then a connection with the Rocks pirates themselves, as Rocks led some of the most powerful and dangerous pirates in history, who eventually became emperors of the sea and other prominent figures. In conclusion, Rocks D. Xebec is one of the most mysterious and fascinating characters in One Piece. His boundless ambition and his impact on history, his connection to the Will of D, make him a crucial figure in the series' lore. Although her time in the main story has already passed, her legacy and the consequences of her actions continue to resonate in the current world of One Piece, and it's very likely that her influence will be revealed more deeply in the future. And now, let's move on to Nefertari D. Lily. Regarding her origins and background, Nefertari D. Lily was the queen of the Kingdom of Alabasta during the Void Century, approximately 800 years ago. She belonged to the Nefertari family, one of the 20 dynasties that allied to form the world government after the fall of the Great Kingdom. However, unlike the other 19 families who moved to marry Jawais and became world nobles, Lily decided to return to Arabasta, maintaining her lineage in her homeland. After the defeat of the Great Kingdom, Lily and the other victorious monarchs established an alliance that gave rise to the world government. Although she had the opportunity to reside and marry Jawais as a world noble, Lily chose to return to Arabasta. This decision made her one of the founders who left no sword on the empty throne, a symbol of renouncing absolute power. According to records, in Arabasta's historical archives, there are no mentions of Lily after the creation of the world government, suggesting she never returned to her kingdom. However, a letter written by her has been passed down through the generations of the Nefertari family. In this missive, Lily urged to protect the poneglyphs and await the dawn of the world, signing as Nefertari D. Lily. Amu, an enigmatic figure of the world government, claimed that Lily was responsible for the dispersion of the poneglyphs throughout the world. This action is seen as a mistake that allowed these artifacts containing information about the Void Century and the One Piece to reach various regions. The revelation that Lily bore the initial D in her name links her to the enigma of the Will of D, a characteristic shared by individuals who throughout history have challenged the world government and sought freedom, and suggests that her decision not to become a world noble might be related to that will. Regarding its impact on the history of One Piece, Nefertari D. Lily's story is fundamental to understanding the elements of the Void Century and the formation of the current world in One Piece. Her lineage continues through people like Nefertari Vivi, who has also played a crucial role in the narrative. Lily's decision not to join the world nobles and her possible involvement in the dispersion of the poneglyphs suggests she played an active role in preserving the history the world government tried to suppress. In conclusion, Nefertari D. Lily was a key figure in the formation of the world government and in the preservation of the poneglyphs' history. Her connection to the will of D and his decision not to become a world noble reflects a stance of resistance and protection of knowledge. Although his final destiny still remains a mystery, his legacy endures in the Nefertari family and in the search for truth in the world of One Piece. And now, let's turn our attention to Nefertari D. Cobra. Regarding his origins and background, Nefertari D. Cobra was the 12th monarch of the Kingdom of Arabasta and father of Princess Nefertari Vivi. He belonged to the Nefertari dynasty, one of the 20 founding families of the world government 800 years ago. However, unlike all the other families who relocated to marry Jawas and became world nobles, the Nefertari chose to remain in Arabasta, maintaining their sovereignty in their homeland. As king, Cobra was renowned for his dedication to his people's welfare and his commitment to justice. Under his leadership, Arabasta prospered, though he faced significant challenges like the infiltration of the criminal organization Baroque Works, led by Crocodile, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. During that period, her daughter Vivi infiltrated Baroque Works under the alias of Miss Wednesday to uncover and stop Crocodile's plans. Cobra attended the Levely, a special meeting of monarchs, where he expressed his concern about the world's hidden history and sought answers about the poneglyphs of the Void Century. His search for the truth led him to a dangerous confrontation with the highest echelons of the world government. During the Levely, Cobra himself was assassinated under quite mysterious circumstances in the world of One Piece. Initially, the revolutionary Sabo was blamed for his death, which generated international tensions. However, it was revealed that the true culprits were Imu and the 5 elders of the Gorosei, the most powerful figures of the world government. This act unleashed a series of events that affected the political stability of Alabasta and the global balance. The revelation that Cobra carries the initial D in his name connects him with the enigmatic will of D, a characteristic shared by individuals who throughout history have challenged the world government and sought freedom. This connection suggests that Cobra possessed an inherent determination to seek freedom and oppose oppression, aligning himself with other bearers of the D. In his desire for justice and freedom, Cobra's legacy lives on through his daughter Nefertari Vivi, who has shown a strong sense of responsibility towards her kingdom and shares her father's ideals. The Nefertari family remains one of the few royal dynasties that, despite founding the world government, have maintained an independent stance and closeness to their people. In conclusion, Cobra was a dedicated and just monarch whose search for truth and his connection to the will of D placed him in a dangerous position against the world government. His tragic death highlights the tensions and secrets that exist in the world of One Piece, and his legacy continues to influence events through his daughter Vivi and the fate of the Kingdom of Alabasta. And now we go to his daughter, Nefertari D. Vivi. Regarding her origins and background, Nefertari Vivi is the princess of the Alabasta Kingdom, daughter of King Nefertari Cobra, and a member of the Nefertari dynasty, one of the 20 founding families of the world government. Vivi is known for her kind, brave character and her strong sense of responsibility towards her people. Despite her royal lineage, Vivi has always prioritized the well-being of others, acting as a leader who deeply cares for her nation. Since childhood, Vivi was educated to assume her role as future monarch, but also experienced the difficulties of being part of a royal family in a world full of conflicts and secrets. When Arabasta faced a grave crisis caused by the criminal organization Baroque Works, Vivi and her bodyguard Igaram infiltrated the organization under the identities of Miss Wednesday and Mr. 8. Vivi discovered that the true leader of Baroque Works was Crocodile, one of the 7 warlords of the sea, who was planning to seize control of the Kingdom of Alabasta during a civil war. During this crucial mission, Vivi crossed paths with the Straw Hat Pirates, who then helped her return to Alabasta to stop Crocodile and save her people. Vivi temporarily joined the Straw Hat Pirates during the story arcs of Whiskey Peak and Alabasta. Throughout that period, she proved herself a loyal and courageous ally, confronting many dangers to safeguard her people. Although she didn't possess remarkable combat abilities, Vivi compensated with her sharp intelligence, unwavering determination, and strong leadership. Vivi's connection to the Straw Hat Pirates was so strong that Luffy and his crew considered her a permanent friend and ally. Vivi was even invited to officially join the Straw Hat crew, but she ultimately decided to remain in Arabasta to fulfill her duties as princess. Years later, Vivi attended the Levely alongside her father, Nefertari Cobra. During this gathering of monarchs, she found herself deeply entangled in the world's political conflicts, including the tragic assassination of her own father by the highest-ranking figures of the world government. This pivotal event marked a crucial turning point in her life, forcing her to confront the hidden secrets of the world and connecting her even more profoundly with the mysterious will of D. Regarding her connection to the will of D, her lineage suggests a link to this will through her father, Cobra, and her ancestor, Nefertari D. Lily. Vivi has shown characteristics associated with the will of D, such as her determination to defy oppression and her future commitment to justice. Regarding her personality, we see that Vivi is kind, compassionate, and altruistic, placing the needs of her people and friends above her own. Although she isn't a dangerous combatant, she is quite skilled in using her weapon, the Peacock Slashers, and demonstrates great strategic capability. Her true power truly lies in her ability to inspire others and to act as a vital bridge between different groups. As for her most important relationships, for example, there is the one she shares with Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates. Vivi, in fact, developed a very close relationship with the crew, especially with Luffy, who ultimately helped her save Alabasta. Even though she's not currently traveling with them, she's still considered a friend and ally. Then there's her relationship with her father, Nefertari Cobra, which was extremely close. Cobra's death during the Leveille left Vivi devastated, but it also motivated her to continue fighting for justice. And then there's also her bond with Karoo, her loyal companion and mount, a giant duck who always accompanies and supports her adventures. Regarding her impact on the One Piece story, we see that Vivi is a crucial character in the Alabasta saga, and her connection with the Straw Hats and the world government suggests she will play an important role in the future. Her participation in the Leveille and the events that followed show that Vivi remains relevant in the broader narrative of One Piece. In conclusion, Nefertari Vivi is a character who symbolizes bravery, sacrifice, and commitment to duty. Although she left the Straw Hat Pirates crew, her relationship with them and her role as Princess of Alabasta make her a central figure in the world of One Piece. Her connection to the Will of D and the world's mysteries suggests that Vivi will play a fundamental role in the series' future events. And now let's move on to the most recently revealed one, which is Cloud D. Cloud D. Clover was the director of the Library of the Tree of Knowledge in Ohara, and one of the most prominent archaeologists in the world of One Piece. He was a key figure in unraveling the mysteries of the Void Century, the forbidden period of history the world government has tried to erase completely. Clover dedicated his life to researching poneglyphs, ancient artifacts containing key information about that period. Although his connection to the Will of D isn't explicitly explored in the series, the fact he bears the initial D. His name suggests he shared the ideals of curiosity, challenging established power, and the pursuit of truth, very common characteristics among those bearing this initial. Regarding the research in Ohara, we see that Ohara was a very advanced island due to its community of archaeologists, whose main objective was to discover the truth about the Void Century and the Ancient Kingdom. Clover was the leader of this community and dedicated decades of his life to gathering knowledge. The Library of the Tree of Knowledge was the center of this research, containing the world's largest collection of ancient texts. Clover and his team managed to partially decipher the secrets of the Void Century through the poneglyphs, which made them a target for the world government. Clover's dedication and the archaeologists of Ohara attracted the attention of the world government, which considered their research a threat to its power. In response, the Gorosei, the Five Elders, authorized a Buster Call, a massive military operation designed to completely annihilate the island of Ohara. Before his death, Clover was captured by the Marines and presented before the agents of the world government, where he expressed his desire to share with the world what he knew about the Ancient Kingdom. However, before important details could be revealed, he was assassinated by a CP9 agent. Regarding his legacy, the sacrifice of Clover and Ohara's archaeologists was not in vain. Nico Robin, the sole survivor of the attack, continued their legacy, carrying Ohara's knowledge and mission to uncover the truth of the Void Century. The texts the archaeologists saved during the attack also remain a source of information for the future. As for its connection to D's will, it's not explicitly mentioned, but his life and sacrifice embody its ideals to challenge the oppressive power of the world government, seek the truth, and protect the legacy of the past. His dedication to history and freedom of knowledge places him among the bearers of this mysterious initial who have most impacted the world of One Piece. Regarding the impact of One Piece's story, we see that Clover and Ohara's sacrifice is a pivotal event in the series, as it highlights the world government's oppression and establishes Nico Robin's motivations. The destruction of Ohara is a constant reminder of the cost of defying established powers, but it also inspires the Straw Hats and other allies to fight for a more just world. In conclusion, Clover is a symbol of intellectual resistance and sacrifice in One Piece. His pursuit of truth, despite the risks, reflects the spirit of the Will of D. And his legacy lives on through Nico Robin and those who seek to unravel the secrets of the Void Century. His story highlights the importance of knowledge and bravery against oppression, which are central elements in the One Piece universe. And that brings us to the explanation of all and every single member of the D Clan who have been revealed up to January 1st, 2025, which is when I am recording this. Obviously, I wish you a happy new year. I hope you have a fantastic year, that you had a great time last year, and that this year turns out even better.